Welcome to the Startup Funding Espresso. I'm Hall T. Martin, where we talk about how to raise funding and invest in startups and the time it takes to drink an espresso. If you have a question about startup funding or investing, please go to the website, startupfundingespresso.com, and type in your question into the chat bot in the lower right corner to receive an answer. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, this is Hall T. Martin with the Startup Funding Espresso, your daily shot at startup funding and investing. The lead investor leads the diligence and negotiations with the startup. Here's a list of responsibilities of a lead investor. Recruits investors to join the diligence team and divides up the work. Engages in the process of diligence as well. Organizes meetings with investors and the startup team. Keeps the investors informed of the progress of diligence and deal term negotiations. Brings in an attorney to paper the investment transaction. Helps select the board of directors if a board will be formed. Keeps the startup team informed of the investors' concerns and care-abouts. Provides mentorship to the startup throughout the diligence process. And negotiates the valuation and key terms of the deal, such as liquidation preferences. And helps find additional investors if needed. Represents the interests of all the investors throughout the process. A lead investor makes it easier for the startup by negotiating the terms directly rather than dealing with multiple investors. Consider these responsibilities before taking on the role of a lead investor. Thank you for joining us for the Startup Funding Espresso, where we help startups and investors connect for funding. Let's go start listening to today. Hall T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.